Businesses are not only hoarding XRP, they're putting it to work. Just check out these headlines. First up from Crypto Basic, Mazzari spotlights the growing interest in XRP as a treasury reserve asset. And let me tell you, one of my favorite details in this story is worth the hype. We'll get to that in a second. Then there's this update to an earlier story. The NASDAQ listed Webis has officially filed with the SEC for a $300 million XRP reserve. Yes, it's happening. Back in May, I highlighted this, and it's been buzzing in the community ever since, for good reason. A few publicly traded companies are now gearing up to leverage XRP as a treasury reserve asset. Here's the exciting part. It wasn't just 3 companies in May. There are actually 4 publicly traded companies in the US that announced the launch of treasury reserves built entirely around XRP. Yes, XRP specific treasury reserves. To clarify, we're not talking about multi-coin setups here. 4 companies in a single month. That's huge. Turns out all it took was clearing some red tape. Once the government stepped aside and leveled the playing field, the market made its choice loud and clear. Why? Because XRP is a winner. It's built for functionality and its utility speaks for itself. Here's the kicker. Not only are these 4 companies launching XRP treasury reserves, every single one of them is actively using XRP because of its real world utility. And as long as it remains useful, guess what? XRP isn't going anywhere. It's unlocking business models that were once impossible. That's the whole point. The reason is crystal clear. XRP isn't going to succeed. It already has. XRP is a winner, and the proof is out there. The victory isn't in the future, it's in the present. The hard part is over. XRP has already paved the way. From here, it's all about watching things evolve, more adoption, more integration, and more momentum as time goes on. There's no need to question it anymore. XRP's potential isn't a gamble, it's a reality. The world just hasn't caught on fully yet. How cool is that? What an incredible moment to be part of this journey as an XRP holder. Stick around because later in the video, I'll be sharing insights from former Ripple employee Austin King that you won't want to miss. He shared some analysis on this, and it's nothing short of captivating. Back in May, one company made waves by being the first publicly traded firm to announce its use of XRP. Let's rewind to May 8th for the big reveal. Cue the headline. Wellgistics Health secures $50 million 0 cents credit facility and launches XRP-powered payment initiative. Pretty bold, right? Wellgistics Health, Inc., tech-driven pharmaceutical distribution and healthcare infrastructure company, unveiled a groundbreaking plan to integrate XRP. They're leveraging it as both a treasury reserve and a real-time payment system. Management believes that if this takes off, Wellgistics could become one of the first publicly traded healthcare companies to deploy XRP this way. Big news, everyone. It's not just about treasury reserves anymore. XRP is now being used directly in payment flows. This game-changing initiative is backed by Wellgistics Health's $50 million 0 cents equity line of credit, aimed at driving innovation in programmable liquidity and on-demand financial infrastructure. The goal to eliminate banking delays, cut costs, and boost transparency across their national healthcare network. This is exactly the kind of breakthrough that many of us in the XRP community have envisioned for nearly a decade. Well, I've always believed this to be true. For years, though, it felt out of reach, like an impossible dream, with setbacks, attacks, and endless naysayers claiming it would never happen. But they were wrong. Here we are, on a level playing field where the government isn't deciding winners or losers and crypto is free to thrive. The results speak for themselves. XRP stands tall. It's not about luck. It's simply a winner. That's all there is to it. Did you catch this? On May 30th, something big happened. 3 companies announced plans to buy and hold XRP as a strategic reserve asset, all within 24 hours. And here's the kicker. These companies aren't just holding XRP, they're actively using it. Let's break it down quickly because this is huge. If you're not familiar with what's going on, it might not seem like a big deal, but trust me, it is. So here's a quick recap to set the stage. First up, ACG at Alt Capital Group, a subsidiary of Hyperscale Data, revealed its plan to add XRP to its balance sheet. They're aiming to purchase a whopping $10 million worth of XRP by the end of this year. Why? To fuel their expansion into financial services. ACG has announced that its acquired XRP will be listed as a cryptocurrency asset on its balance sheet, adjusted to fair market value at the end of each reporting period. Any changes in XRP's value will flow through the company's operating expenses in its consolidated statement of operations. But here's where it gets interesting. ACG is also planning to launch an XRP lending platform tailored for NYSE listed companies. Yes, you heard that right. Not only is XRP becoming a reserve asset, but it's also paving the way for innovative lending solutions. This is exactly the kind of forward thinking we've been anticipating. For years, the idea of businesses holding a deflationary asset like XRP on their balance sheets seemed inevitable. And now it's finally happening. Companies are figuring out just how much sense this makes. It's only going to grow from here. Think about it. Some of these businesses have seriously deep pockets, and there's only so much XRP out there. The craziest part, barely anyone has ever bought it in the history of humanity. Oh, what happens when demand skyrockets? Do the math, people. And here's another exciting piece, Vivo Power. This one had me buzzing. Get this. Saudi royalty is tied to this one. Turns out they've been quietly holding XRP for nearly a decade. Yep, that's right. They finally made it public just the other day. Now they're creating a fund with Vivo Power, building an XRP treasury. The details, honestly, who cares? The big picture is what matters. I've already gone into detail on this topic before, so I won't dive in too deeply here. Just know that there are real investments happening in the XRP DeFi ecosystem. What's important is that businesses are actively using it. That's the key takeaway. Now, this isn't the main focus of today's video, but I wanted to flag it so you're in the loop. We'll get to the final point in just a second, and trust me, there's an exciting update there. But first, here's something worth noting. Messari is spotlighting the growing interest in XRP as a treasury reserve asset. Messari, a top name in crypto market intelligence, has spotlighted 3 public companies building strategic XRP reserves. In today's update, Messari identified Vivo Power, Logistics, and WebAss International as companies planning to purchase and hold XRP as a treasury reserve asset. Interestingly, they only listed 3 out of 4, likely overlooking 1. After all, it's easy to miss details in the fast-moving crypto world. What's truly fascinating here is seeing Messari finally acknowledge XRP in a positive light. For years, they've been notorious for trashing XRP and spreading misinformation about its ecosystem, something I largely blame on their ex-founder Ryan Selkis. Let's just say his case of XRP derangement syndrome was one for the record books. However, even before Selkis was ousted, Messari had started shifting their stance, so credit where credit's due. It's refreshing to see them move past the drama and give XRP the recognition it deserves. It's refreshing to finally see something grounded in reality, honest reporting. Now, when the XRP ecosystem gets coverage, the focus is on rising utility and growing business adoption. Isn't it amazing to witness this shift? It feels like a far cry from 2019, when I was making videos dismantling the lies and nonsense spread by Messari and Ryan Selkis. I made plenty of videos exposing their misinformation back then. To now be able to highlight them for sharing reasonable, reality-based insights, it's incredibly satisfying. It's proof that we were right all along, and it feels so good to see this change. I'm thrilled to see this honesty, especially coming from a platform with serious reach, 422,000 followers on X. Oh, and here's the latest. International chauffeur service Webis is planning a massive $300 million raise for their XRP strategic reserve. Big news dropped at the end of May. XRP is taking center stage. Not only is it being launched as a treasury reserve, but it's also being integrated into payment flows for international transactions. Yes, you read that right. Companies are stepping up, and the latest development proves this is no longer just talk. Here's the scoop. On Wednesday, NASDAQ-listed Webis officially filed with the SEC to establish a $300 million XRP reserve. This move signals a major shift as institutions start waking up to the potential of XRP treasuries. And waking up might be an understatement. Webis International, a player in both the automotive and hospitality industries, filed an update with the SEC declaring its intention to leverage XRP in a big way. As part of its 6K filing, the company made it clear in XRP corporate treasuries happening. It's exciting to watch this unfold in it. These are publicly traded companies filing their moves for the world to see. And trust me, we're only going to see more of this as time goes on. Now, picture yourself in 2025. You're here because you spotted the opportunity before the masses, before the wealthy elites, before the hesitant businesses. You saw it. You recognized the potential before anyone else. So let's take a moment to celebrate that. Seriously, congrats. You've already won. All that's left is to wait a little longer and claim what's yours. Take Austin King, for example, former Ripple employee, co-founder of Omni, Harvard alum, and sharp as they come. He sold his first company to Ripple, so you know he gets it. Some people just see the game, before it's played. And hey, so do you. Now, here's what he shared, and I think you'll find it fascinating. He wrote about a company that just established a massive $300 million XRP reserve. Intriguing, right? It raises the question, why are businesses doing this? At first glance, many assume it's all about price speculation, but here's the twist. That's not the main play here. The real strategy is much bigger. It's about aligning with rapidly expanding crypto networks to tap into their explosive growth. This isn't just about holding onto digital assets. It's about participating in something larger. Companies worldwide are waking up to the fact that crypto networks are growing far faster than they ever could on their own. So they're not just investing, they're building for the future. Let's take this company, for instance. Not only is it creating an XRP reserve, but it's also taking things further by integrating RippleNet to enhance its global travel products. This means faster, smarter international payments. So we're not just talking about XRP as an investment here. We're talking about strategic payment solutions that could redefine how this company operates globally. If you've been in the game for a while, you might remember a time when I was just a young, wide-eyed rookie diving into this whole world. Back in 2017 and 2018, Ripple had an interesting lineup of products. One of the big ones was XRapid, which used XRP as a bridge currency. Over time, it got a glow up and became known as on-demand liquidity before eventually being rolled into the broader Ripple payment system. But that's not all. There was also Xcurrent, the messaging software Ripple created to streamline transactions. And let's not forget XVIA. Anyone remember that? If you've been around for a bit, it probably rings a bell. Maybe it's been a few years since you last thought about it. But those were the building blocks of Ripple's early days. XVIA is essentially a blend of what XRapid and Xcurrent offer, but tailored specifically for corporates. Ripple has been gearing up for this moment for over a decade, helping businesses manage money movement within their own treasuries using XRP. This isn't new. It's been their mission all along. But now XVA gets a rebrand, and here we are. How cool is that? Back in 2017 and 2018, skeptics mocked the idea of companies holding XRP, calling it a scam coin. Fast forward, and those same companies are making it happen. They're using the tools that were doubted, and it's so satisfying to see. We were right. Vindication feels amazing. And it's not just Ripple. Look at Square. They built a Bitcoin reserve and are now rolling out Bitcoin payments. And this momentum isn't slowing down. It's picking up. As Austin King said, this is going to accelerate. Couldn't agree more. Things are about to speed up big time. We're going to see a wave of companies, including publicly traded ones, diving in and leveraging tools like the former XVIA to streamline their international remittances. But here's the kicker. They're doing it internally within their own walls because XRE is insanely useful and it's only gaining value. There's something powerful about having a scarce, finite, deflationary asset like this. As demand grows, so does its worth. These companies see the potential and they're making some seriously savvy financial moves. It's exciting to watch, no doubt about it. Honestly, it feels vindicating. After years of skepticism and challenges, especially over the past 5 years, it's rewarding to see the tide turning. There's a sense of validation that's hard to put into words. It's just satisfying. That said, let me be clear. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make buying or selling decisions based on what I say. Seriously, that would be a terrible idea.